Hello, this is the Transfer Show. The transfer window really hotting up. And finally, we've had a breakthrough at Manchester United in that pursuit of Manuel Ugarte. Michael, tell us more.
Yes, it's the midfielder they've been looking for, the main midfield choice they've wanted, and it looks like they have got him. Deal agreed, as you can see there, 50.7 million. He was expected to fly to the UK today and have a medical to sign off on the personal terms. Look, PSG wanted a permanent deal as well, but United are delighted. PSG were looking for a bit more money here, but United have got this deal and it's close to being done. He was the primary target throughout this window for Manchester United, so Eric Targ will be delighted. From PSG's point of view, they feel they're pretty stacked in that position as well. They acknowledge he's a very good player. It's one of those, both clubs seem to be happy with this deal now being done. Close to being done.
Close to being done. James, it seems like Manchester United are backing Ten Hag. They've spent millions upon millions in this window.
You're completely right, Mike, and we were unsure following the FA Cup final, despite the fact Man United won it, whether or not Ten Hag would get the job long term. Well, they backed him, and they're spending more than £200 million now in this transfer window, just behind Chelsea. So £205.9 million. That includes Manuel Ugarte, because this will be the fifth major summer signing. Matthias de Ligt's come in, Lenny Yoro, two centre-backs. Joshua Zirkzee, we've seen him score his first goal for Manchester United already, and Nusa Mazraoui has now started United's last two games at right back. So it's been a big reshaping of Eric Ten Hag's side, a different structure and a different approach in this transfer window as well. They've been patient at times, but they've not been involved in these long drawn-out sagas which we've seen in recent years. And with that £205 million, they've spread that across the squad as well. There's not any spending of more than £50 million for one single player. You're not getting the £86 million we saw for Anthony or £70 million for Casemiro. So they really had different options in each area of the pitch, and now Eric Ten Hag has got a squad which needs to compete for Manchester United.
But Michael, Manchester United traditionally spend a lot of money. The Glazers put a lot of money in. But historically, they've struggled to offload players for money. Are they doing better business now?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. As you can see here, look, this is including Scott McTominay's potential move to Napoli. Now, we understand now that deal is getting finalised, and Scott McTominay looks to be a Napoli player very soon under Antonio Conte. We're including that figure here. So the figure is around €30 million. So he's going to fly in, sort out a medical. But look, you look at the players they've sold as well. Mason Greenwood, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They've sold a few squad players as well. And we're talking about the structure about Manchester United now. OK, the manager stayed, Eric Ten Hag, but Omar Barada came in from Manchester City, Jason Wilcox, Dan Ashworth. Just as important bringing players in is so important getting the players you don't want out, and Manchester United seems to be doing well at this summer.
I'm being told you've got breaking news on this Sancho Sterling business.
This is absolutely fascinating, Mike. Chelsea and Manchester United involved in discussions around two separate deals. One to bring Raheem Sterling to Manchester United, the other one to bring Jadon Sancho to Chelsea. The possibility of this is now being seriously considered by both clubs. Chelsea proposed to United it was always going to involve a player going the other way. It's thought Ben Chilwell and Raheem Sterling were the players being offered, players who aren't part of Enzo Maresca's first-team squad. United have had issues, haven't they, at left-back. Nusa Mazraoui, he can play right-back, he can play left-back, but still at this moment in time, Luke Shaw's out until after the international break. Tyrell Malacia, we've not seen him in a United shirt for more than a year. Diego Dallo now playing as a left-back. Now, if Sancho was to go, United, under no real pressure to replace him, well stocked in the forward areas. So any deal for Sterling, as we know, for any deal for Sterling, for any club in this transfer window, it would have to make sense financially. And by that, we're talking about his wages. He's still got 3 years left in his Chelsea contract. Where does Raheem Sterling want to play his football? Juventus, they're still in dialogue with United around the signing of Sancho. They want a straight loan. And as we said yesterday, United really pushing for a permanent deal. If Jadon Sancho's to leave in this window, they'd like it to be a loan with an obligation or a permanent deal. But with Sancho having 2 years left in his contract with the option of a further year, a straight loan can't be ruled out.
This is unbelievable.
Isn't it?
I'm sorry,
but how can a player who's worn a Manchester City shirt and a Liverpool shirt then put on a Manchester United shirt? Incredible. We'll talk much more about that in a little bit. Well, what time's the next show? 6:30, isn't it? 6:30, we will talk more. James, Mikel Merino, an Arsenal player at last. Give us the details.
Finally confirmed this, another saga, I guess, but it's been agreed a few days ago. He is now being confirmed just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. We understand the fee around €37.5 million, including performance-related add-ons. It's a 4-year contract for the 28-year-old. Arsenal do have the option of extending that by a further year. He'll be in line to make his debut for Arsenal at home against Brighton this weekend. Also, in terms of outgoings, a couple of players Fabio Vieira, he's arrived in Porto ahead of completing a season-long loan move. Ajax remain interested in Aaron Ramsdale. David Raya now is the first choice keeper for Arsenal. Look at what he's done in the first 2 weekends of this season. So Ajax, Southampton are considering whether to go back in with another offer. So far, the reason why a lot of Premier League clubs have struggled to make this work, and for Ajax as well, Arsenal were looking for a permanent deal in this window. They're looking for worst case, a loan, ideally with an obligation to buy. But we understand the valuation that Arsenal have set in terms of what that buy price would be has put Premier League clubs off and Ajax so far. But it does look like Aaron Ramsdale wants first-team football. Whether or not it's in the Premier League or Ajax, they remain interested.
All right, let's stay with Arsenal outgoings. Eddie Nketiah, is he going out the door?
It's going to be an emotional time, I'll tell you, when we don't talk Eddie Nketiah anymore on our transfer shows. But it's getting ever so closer to a move to Crystal Palace. They've agreed a deal in principle with Arsenal Crystal Palace. Fee understood to be around 25 million. Initial payment with 5 million performance-related add-ons. That's still being discussed right now. But he has been given permission to undertake his Crystal Palace medical. Forest were keen, but that didn't materialise. Now the key is Nketiah, probably a bit like we've said over the last few weeks on Emil Smith Rowe, probably time for a fresh start, a move. Arsenal pretty firm. They wanted around £30 million. So this is getting ever so closer. Hopefully we'll hear from Oliver Glasner tonight as Crystal Palace take on Norwich in the League Cup, because plenty of transfer lines for managers to get into in post-match interviews tonight.
Aren't there just? I want to stay with this Nketiah, though, because at the weekend we all saw Arteta say, I need a forward, but he's selling one. So aren't they going to be short?
Well, a bit of context with Eddie Nketiah. As promising a player as he is and as important as he has been for Arsenal over the years, he's not started a Premier League game in 2024. So by that token, they don't necessarily need to bring a replacement for somebody simply to not get many minutes. But then at the same time, Gabriel Jesus is injured at the moment. The initial prognosis is that he's not going to be out for long. I think what helps Arsenal here is there is an international break following this game against Brighton. But I think Arsenal fans are concerned because given Gabriel Jesus' injury record in recent time, Kai Havertz is seemingly the only fit striker they have at this moment in time. I think Arsenal fans forget that Kai Havertz was signed as a left-side number 8. He's now excelling as a striker, so he's the first choice there. There are other options in the pitch. Leandro Trossard can play. There's a false 9 as well. And we did report at the beginning of this transfer window that forward was an area that Arsenal looked to strengthen in. So if they are to get a forward in this window, they'll have got everything they wanted in this transfer window. It does feel like with time ticking, it's unlikely they're going to get one done. There's not going to be any panic buys, that's for sure.
OK. All right. Newcastle fans, listen up, because your club remains in talks with Crystal Palace over a deal for their skipper, Mark Gay. Now, the clubs are expected to try and reach an agreement that will suit everybody before Friday's deadline.
In terms of incomings, no, that work's still going on behind the scenes. A few days left. I think everyone's trying their best to improve the squad, and yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with the next few days.
The Mark Gay story doesn't seem to go away. Are you still hopeful, or have you given up on Mark?
I'm not going to comment on individual players.
Where are you with Kieran?
I think when you look at his performance on Sunday, that was a performance of someone that was focused and ready to help the team. Kieran's experience and his know-how on the pitch seemed to have a galvanising effect on the group, so I was very pleased with his impact.
More talks with him this week then?
No, only football talk. There'd be no need for any other talk. I think he's in a good place.
Right, let's talk Brentford now. We spoke Ivan Toney earlier, but Yohan Wissa is attracting interest as well. Tell us about this, Michael.
Yeah, interesting one. And rather out of the blue, from what we understand this morning, that Brentford rejected a bid from Nottingham Forest for Yohan Wissa. We can say the bid was an initial £15 million. Now, with just a few days remaining, Thomas Frank doesn't, he's probably realising now that Ivan Toney doesn't have a future with him. But Yohan Wissa, probably unthinkable at the moment, and certainly Brentford could be busy over the next few days if that was to happen. But yeah, more on that as we get. But quite an interesting one development from that this morning.
He wouldn't want to lose 2 strikers in one go, would he?
Absolutely not. No, and I'm sure Brentford will look to strengthen as well. But yeah, absolutely not. Right,
let's talk Manchester City. They've done some smart business. Gundogan's in, and of course the man they're calling the new Mahrez is in. Are they going to offload João Cancelo and Mateus Nunes?
Well, it does look like Cancelo's time at Manchester City is finally up. He's not played a competitive match for Man City for 19 months now, so more than a year and a half. And Al Hilal from the Saudi Pro League agreed a deal with City to sign him. The fee around £21 £0.2 million. Now, Núñez has not quite worked out so far. He's not had the opportunities perhaps he'd hoped for after signing from Wolves. Man City aware of interest from Atletico Madrid for Núñez. There's been no contact yet, but they're looking at a loan deal. And I think they're looking at the situation with Gundogan coming in, thinking maybe he'll take even more of Núñez's minutes. Could he be available for Atletico Madrid? And I guess my opinion would be this could be a great move for him just to kick-start his career again and goes back to Man City next season as another option for Pep. Because at this moment in time, it doesn't feel like he's going to get many options this season unless there's some major injuries.
OK, and what about a striking replacement for Julian Alvarez? Is that going to happen at City?
Yeah, we were wondering that for the last few weeks, weren't we, Mike? But our understanding is it's highly unlikely now. There was talk of the young Icelandic international Ori Oskarsson, but we understand that's not the case. Maybe someone they have looked at and potentially in the future someone they like, but they feel they're pretty well stocked and they're happy with what they've got so far.
OK, well, we've been saying, haven't we, how Chelsea have been dominating the last few days of the window. Here they come again, because the Ipswich manager, Kieran McKenna, has confirmed they're still trying to sign Chelsea forward Armando Broja. The deal was thought to have broken down, though, over the weekend.
With Armando, it's of course a player that we've spoken to. I think that's pretty well known. There's discussions going on with Chelsea at the moment, so I've not been privy to them over the last 24 hours. So there's discussions ongoing, and we'll see if it's the right thing for the clubs and for the player before Friday. And other than that, look, it's not right to speak on any other rumours really until anything's confirmed.
Was there an issue flagged in the medical?
That's not right for me to comment on. That's between the player first and foremost and the clubs, and there's discussions ongoing, and we'll see what the resolution is by Friday.
Michael, deal done at Leeds. Tell us.
Yeah, good news. And Leeds fans, you'll be pleased with this because it's an incoming we're talking about for Leeds fans. It's not been a great summer for them, has it? But a bit of good news, an exciting one as well, because someone I've watched quite a lot. Manos Solomon has joined Leeds United from Tottenham on loan until the end of the season. I understand there's no option or obligation to buy this. It's a straight loan. Solomon spent most of last season injured with a knee injury, but if fit, it'll be a good signing for Leeds.
Just got 20, 30 seconds or so. Just recap the Sancho news you gave us.
Yeah, Mark, this is so significant. Chelsea and Manchester United are in talks over two separate deals for Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling. The possibility of Sancho signing for Chelsea, which seemed unthinkable a few days ago, and Sterling signing for Manchester United, which again seemed outlandish even 24 hours ago, that is now being seriously considered. So you could have a situation by deadline day where Jadon Sancho is a Chelsea player, Raheem Sterling, a former Manchester City and Liverpool midfielder, is a Manchester United player.
That is astonishing. It's all building up to what will be a fantastic deadline day. That is Friday. Loads of drama. Deals got to be done. Clock got to be beaten. We kick it all off at 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's coming up. Coming up next, we are live at Selhurst Park. We'll get the very latest on Mark Gahey. See you in a moment.